Welcome to the How to Beach channel. This is a place where we do beach reviews, beach gears. We take you around to different beaches all over the world. But lately I've been updating you on what the travel requirements are coming in and out of St. Thomas and the rest of the Virgin Islands. So today I'm going to give you your August travel update. Okay, all of these guidelines that I'm going to go over with you were just updated by the governor last week. So these are the latest updates from the governor and from the government on all of the travel restrictions, COVID test, vaccination requirements, everything you're going to need to know, mask requirements. So let's just get into it right now. I also just flew into the USVI last week. I came from Spain, so I was traveling internationally. So for anybody who's traveling internationally, I can tell you a little bit about how it was for me getting out of the country and getting out of here and coming back in, and kind of what the process looked like and wait times and that sort of thing. Okay, so I have notes here. I'm going to just read through what all the new updates are. Not very much have changed if you watched my last video. But this is the latest and the greatest. So here we go. All travelers 5 years older and up must use the travel portal. I'll put a link down below. I always forget about doing the travel portal every time I fly, and I usually end up doing it in the airport when I'm on my way here. We had like 27 hours of travel time to get here from Spain, so I had plenty of time to do it. But I would suggest doing it maybe at least the day before, just so that the code gets processed and you get the little green barcode when you go onto the portal. It asks you to upload your COVID test and answer a bunch of questions, and then it gives you a green barcode. The second thing that it says is a vaccine does not supersede a test. So the governor's requiring people to be tested even if you are vaccinated. The test must be a PCR or a rapid antigen test or the antibody finger prick test, unless you're coming from the BVI. They have a different requirements for the BVI now. When I was coming from Spain, we got the antigen test. We went to the hospital. I'm going to tell you what the requirements of the labs are also. We went to the hospital in Spain and got the antigen test because it was 34 euros versus 140 euros for the PCR test, and it was actually faster. So that's the one that we got. That's the thing up the nose. And if you're coming from the BVI, you have to have the antigen test, and it must be within 48 hours of arriving here, because the cases are just blowing up over in the BVI. They got 17 whole cases over there. So that's the new requirements for coming from the BVI. Okay, if you're traveling from the USVI somewhere else and returning here, so if you're a local, you live in the USVI and you got vaccinated in the USVI, they say now in the guidelines that you may be exempt from having a test. So I don't know what may means or how you could get stuck on that, but you should be able to travel in and out of the USVI if you're vaccinated in the USVI, fully vaccinated. So it says, that's what it says on the website. You can go look at it. Okay, they also came up with some requirements for the lab that you're getting the test in. I know there's some places where you can use a home kit, and I don't know if they're going to accept those, because the way that it reads on the website, it says if you need a test, the lab must be CILA certified. And if you're coming from another country, it says it must be certified based on what the certification of that country is. It says more than likely it needs to be ISO 15189 or ISO/IEC 17025. When we got our test in Spain done, we went to the local hospital and we scheduled an appointment, I think, and then the next day we went in and got the antigen test done in the hospital, and they were 34 euros each in Spain. It also says if you're coming from another country that you must follow the CDC guidelines, and the CDC guidelines don't match exactly what the US Virgin Islands are requiring. So I printed out the CDC guidelines when traveling and basically was following those rules just in case things got sticky. I could say, it says here on the website, you need the CDC guidelines, and here are the CDC guidelines. So take that for what it's worth, but that's how I sort of put the rules together. For instance, the CDC says you don't have to wear a mask, but the governor of the Virgin Islands says you do have to wear a mask if you're fully vaccinated. So while you're here, let's go over some of the mask requirements. When you're here, whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, you do need to wear a mask. Basically, when you're indoors, it's still the same thing. If you go to a bar or restaurant, you wear the mask when you walk in, you sit down, you take the mask off, you eat and drink and be merry. Put the mask on if you have to stand up to go to the bathroom or when you leave. Sitting, no mask. Standing, mask. Also in bars and restaurants, they're they were letting you sit at the bar, and now it says you're not allowed to sit or congregate around the bar area again. So maybe they went backwards on that. So it does say no sitting or congregating around the bar. What else? Bars and restaurants are limited to 100 people. They're limited to 75% capacity. They both have to close at midnight. If it's a restaurant, it has to close at midnight. And if it's a bar, it has to close at midnight, but they stop serving alcohol at 11. No dancing still. DJs and live music are allowed now, but you cannot dance. But you can still play pool with the pool sticks if they're wiped down in between every shot or every player or every something ridiculous. Taxis and safaris, you still have to wear a mask in public transportation. All beaches are open. However, no picnics, no parties, no DJs, no camping, no bonfires, no cooking, no barbecuing allowed on the beaches, but you're allowed to go and sit there. You can have alcohol on the beach. Also, it doesn't say anything about restricting alcohol on the beach. Gatherings must be less than 100 people. So if you're coming here for a big wedding or a big gathering, you can only have 100 people together. That's pretty much it. They just on a side note, their public schools are not opening here. They recommend private schools not to open, but the private schools I think all are opening. So that's it. Not too much different from the last time. When I flew out of here, also depending on what airline you're flying on, the airline may require a lot of the same paperwork. We flew on American, and then American transferred over to Iberia from Madrid. From Miami to Madrid, we were on Iberian, but from here to Miami and from Madrid to Miami and Miami to St. Thomas coming back, those were all American flights. So they did require to see that green barcode. So you're going to need that before they let you on the plane. When we were in Miami, they required to see the green barcode, and they required to see our test results. And I think it was when we were leaving, we didn't have to show those things, but when we were coming back into the U.S., we had to show the test results and the barcode to get onto the plane. So you're going to need those ahead of time. As far as that, traveling internationally, we didn't have any extra wait times. I have the global entry. So if you, especially getting out of here, that global entry makes it a lot faster. You don't have to wait in all the lines. So if you have time or just for future travels, I highly recommend getting that global entry. Makes it easier. You don't have to stand in the line in customs. You get to skip the line getting out of here for passport control. So that's a pro tip for you. Get that TSA pre-check or the global entry. It's a couple bucks more for the global entry, so I'd go for that one if you can. And that's it. Everything else is open. Hotels, restaurants, bars, Airbnbs, everything's open here. So come have a good time. We still do have some sargassum on a lot of the beaches. So last time I went out and did a little sargassum show of what the beaches look like here. I'm not going to do that this time because people didn't really seem to find that helpful. I also got yelled at because I did a video on the travel requirements for Spain while I was over there, and someone said, "Don't tell us about anything except St. Thomas." So that guy is a mean guy if you're still watching. But I hope you got what you wanted. And if you guys did get what you wanted, please hit the like button down there. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I'm back from my 3 weeks in Spain now, so I'm going to be doing more videos about things to do in St. Thomas. I've got some new gear reviews coming out. I had somebody send me a new snorkel, a new beach tent, some new microfiber towels. So I've got a bunch of new videos that are going to be coming out. So if you're wondering good gear to travel with to come here or to travel to go to any beaches, I got new videos coming out on that. So subscribe to the channel. We're going to have great new content coming out. And thank you. We'll see you in the next video.